Of course, we accept that the goal is the two-state solution. What about going back to people-to-people contact? In other words, working from the ground up. When I was at the embassy, we had the Y River grants. They came from the Clinton administration, but I oversaw them during the Bush administration. That contact, whether it was in emergency medicine, agriculture, water resources, education, meaning getting rid of negative stereotyping and so on, all of those areas put people together from both sides to work on common ground, shared interests, as opposed to putting them together to argue about their differences.
Look, I was always a deep believer in that. One of the annexes of the interim agreement had an annex exclusively devoted to people. Today, it sounds like an illusion because today it's only people-to-people fear. And we need to get back to that. To push for it right now, again, it would look unrealistic. You're not going to convince anybody. It'll look like you're living on a different planet. So the problem is, first, you got to diffuse the tension. One of the ways to diffuse the tension is you got to stop the mythologies. There's among the Palestinians right now, what is on different websites and what has gone viral is this mythology that the Israelis are trying to turn the Al-Aqsa Mosque into the equivalent of what you have in Hebron, meaning you have Abraham's tomb and you have the Ibrahimi Mosque. It's not true, but it's being spread. And it's believed, and a lot of these kids are going out there and they're saying the reason they're doing this is that they're protecting Al-Aqsa. And, if you spread incitement that way, then you're going to get this. A place to start is, I would like to see, Secretary Kerry was talking about going out there. I'd like to see him go to Amman. I'd like to see King Abdullah host a meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu and Abu Mazen. And I'd like Secretary to be there, and I'd like them to come out with public statements where the Prime Minister could say, we are not going to change the status quo, and Abu Mazen will say, they're not going to change the status quo, there's no truth to what's going on there. We have an assurance, and King Abdullah would say, the Waqf is responsible for managing the Haram, and that's the way it's going to be. You need something like that to counter this image right now. So you have to start by trying to counter what is the kind of atmospherics right now that has mythologies easily believed and spread like wildfire. You have social media images that are just taking off and having a life of their own, and it sort of feeds us in a way that until you can arrest that, you can't get back to doing things like that. But what I mean by restoring belief is, if you say you're for two states, for two peoples, then have a manifestation that that's the case in terms of your words and your actions. Don't have actions that imply just the opposite. A couple years ago, I wrote a piece where I identified actually 16 parallel steps that could be taken. Unfortunately, everyone was able to restrain their enthusiasm for those suggestions, and they weren't taken. But the fact is, had they been taken, you'd be in a very different place now. This is what I mean by focus on the things that you actually have a chance to do. Don't focus on big initiatives that have no chance of success right now.